Good evening. We are going live.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening to one and all who have gathered this evening to be enthralled by the one and only and the most loved star of our current times in Hindi films, Mr. Boman Irani. Thank you so much, Boman, for joining us, and we welcome you to our grand finale, Zenversation number 10.
So, do you want me to turn on my camera also?
Yes, please
All
do.
right.
Please do. Please do.
So,
Welcome.
so I charge 2 rupees for audio and 2 extra rupees for camera. So, okay.
Done. My trustees have sanctioned it already, so
And,
I shall be very happy to give that to
and
you.
1 rupee for the transaction. So, 5 rupees if you don't mind. And here comes the camera.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll need your NEFT details though, because then I can make the transfer.
Just send me a little bit of 1 sec. Just send me a little bit of love. That's all. And it's transferred already.
We will always love you for who you
It.
are and for, when I started out, when I told my son, I said, Mr. Baman Irani has accepted, he sat down and he said, Ma, there mustn't be a single person who watches Hindi films who will have any other opinion about Baman sir. There'll be opinions about every other star in the film industry, but everybody definitely loves him to the moon and back. So, thank you so much for being with us this evening. And I cannot tell you what an honor it is to have you here today. I want to share this with all the lovely friends who've joined us today and who are also watching us on YouTube. Um, it's been almost a 5 year conversation, a friendship with Mr. Baman Irani. He's been so kind, always saying, yes, I will be there for you someday. Don't worry. I will come and I will definitely chat with your children. And I couldn't have asked for a better day than today. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I'm not going to really go into introductions because you don't
No.
need introductions. You are so amazing.
Let's get
Let's get started. So you know what? I'm going to get started with something that I saw, which I want to share.
Live.
And I'm going to
Someone's
ask
mic
you
is on. Someone's mic is on. I'll just wanted to check on something before we go on. Someone's mic is on.
Anji, please go ahead. You want me to
Yeah,
switch off?
no. There's somebody start speaking in the middle. Don't worry. Go ahead. Let's go.
Okay. Should we go? No. I just thought, is somebody's microphone on?
Now it's off. Not to worry.
Okay. All right. So I have something that I'd like to show our viewers, and I'd like to get started right from the basics, right from a time when you've shared a few pictures, and I'd like to start with this lovely, endearing picture of yours. Isn't this so beautiful? So let's start from the very beginning. A very good place to start. Can I request all of you to please keep yourself on mute? Shraddha, could you just help me with that?
Just mute all.
Yes, I've been doing that. Suddenly
someone new comes in, the mic remains on. No problem.
All right. So we start here. Such a lovely little tiny tot that you are. Tell us about yourself right from the time that you were a little baby, and where did your journey begin? You're a Mumbai boy.
I'm a Mumbai boy. Yes, I was born.
Vibhavani, can I please request you to mute yourself? Thank you.
No problem.
Sorry.
Take three. All right. So I was born in 1959. Don't calculate. I'm 61 years old now. Please don't waste time. And there I am with my sisters. I have a third sister who's married. who had gotten married at that time. I was born. I was born after my father passed away. So 59 May, my father died. 59 December, I was born. So I came into this world very protected and very, very scared. And a child that, looking around, wondering what's going on. People were very sad around me because my dad may have died and everybody felt sorry for me. And I never felt any reason why people should feel sorry for me. I was a perfectly healthy child, but I was a nervous child. And, uh, and I think all that protection doesn't help. It doesn't. While they mean well, your sisters will protect you, your mother will protect you, and the 87 chachis, masis, and maushis are there to protect you. And they're all coming and they're protecting. But I say after a while, you got to let a guy toughen up, It's important. And I learned that the hard way.
Nervous shock.
There's a late,
No. Sorry.
late echo coming in.
No.
Right. So that was my early days. Those were my early days where I suddenly, and I used to have speech defect, where I used to lisp, talk like Viru Sastra Buddhe. And I used to feel something is awkward because people used to laugh every time I spoke. And I used to find it very irritating. And I said, better not to speak. So I became a very quiet child. I became extremely quiet, and the teachers used to write remarks in English. Many years later, I checked and saw what that actually meant. So when the teachers write, he's a very reticent child. I said, what the hell is reticent? I didn't know. I'm a kid. Many years later, I looked it up in the dictionary because it was playing on my mind. Teachers play an important part in that sense. Reticent. What does reticent mean? Oh, quiet, very quiet, introverted. I was. And I found all my explosions on the stage for some reason. I think that so my mother sent me to a speech therapist and all of that. And I found all my explosions and happiness on stage. I see, I'm scowling over there. Look at
Yeah, I was wondering why that. I mean, and I love the parallel that you've drawn and you put there, Iris.
My sister made this recently. And she said, look at you, you're scowling. You're looking around nervously around people because I hope nobody's making fun of me. And I think children are very sensitive. I was an extra sensitive child. And it's good, but it doesn't help too much.
Yeah, what I want to ask you is many a times we as educators, as therapists, we do experience seeing a child who has those challenges, right? But I want to know the inside story of an adult who's gone through those motions. And today, when you look back, can you share with us what was that little Boman going through at that point of time? What can you share with us so that we can become a little more insightful with our learners?
I think in the early days it was very, very confusing because today we recognize learning disability, whether it's dyslexia or dyscalculia or dysgraphia or attention deficiency and things. Oh, in the day, if you didn't know how to do your someone's mic is on. We'll just keep pressing mute all the time.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right? So what was happening was that we didn't know what learning disability was. There was no such thing. Either you're clever or normal, or a duffer. And that's hard on a child to know that there's something wrong with me. I don't want to speak, and on top of it, I'm slow. Is that what it is? But I said to myself, my mother understood this. My mother understood this really well because she encouraged me in the performing arts. She encouraged me in the performing arts, and she sent me to a speech therapist, and I kind of came out of it. But I still couldn't understand maths very well. There were so many things in science I could not understand, biology and equations. I could not. And I'm sorry, there are some kids don't need to be judged because they don't know equations. You've got to judge them for what they are good at. I mean, you ask a kid who gets 105 on 100 in maths, if he can stand on stage and perform, he can't. Why aren't we judging him on that?
Yes.
You got to judge the child for what he is good at, or what he's trying to be good at least. What's his effort level? What is, even if he's not good at maths, judge him that he's trying. Yeah,
True.
that's what you're going to judge him for. It's the marks that you say, oh wow, you are fantastic. Of course you're fantastic, and God bless you. But some people aren't. Some people are their intelligence might be in the shape of a football. How to use a football and curve it around. There's science of how to curl a ball, and they bend it like Beckham, and they say, now that's a genius, because he knows how to kick the ball and he knows how to curl the ball. Maybe
Wow.
while doing mathematical equations, some other kid may we not know how to do that. And I think one has to understand in education that some children will shine in something, some children will shine in most things, and some children will shine academically. And I think it's great to nurture the academically inclined children, but equally important, or maybe a little more important, especially in schools, because the school is academically inclined. But in school, we've got to make the kids who aren't academically inclined encouraged. It's very important.
Very true. Very, very true. I think you couldn't have said it better. And I think the trauma is to live up to somebody else's expectations at all
Right.
times. And that is the worst thing that we are putting a child through. What were your coping strategies? So, what were the different things that you did to cope through these difficult times and difficult moments?
My coping strategies were very simple. I didn't realize it, but obviously my mother pushed me in the right direction. My coping strategies were the artistic side, expression, whether I could sing or write poetry, or even debate or act, or just be on stage. I
Wow.
found I found a safe place for myself. So when I'm standing in the theater and when I would go on the stage, we had a lovely auditorium in St. Mary's School, and I would stand there, I would feel like $1,000,000. And my coping strategy is to find a place where you can shine. Some kid might find it on a badminton court. Some kid might find it in a debates team, and you got to encourage that, and not penalize him for not understanding a quadratic equation as well.
Yeah.
You tried. Are you trying to do this equation as best you can? Yeah, you're good.
Wow.
You're
Wow.
good. As long as you're trying and not saying, okay, I don't understand maths, to hell with it. No, at least try and fix it and say that I'm a trier, if not anything else.
Wow.
Kids,
Wow.
kids have to try and enjoy their spaces. My space was on stage. I used to, as a kid, I used to write plays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm saying to myself, how did I even have the guts to think like that? Because that was my safe space.
Ah. And so you were writing and directing plays from in your peers and all of that? I
And
mean,
when we go for camps, and I'm organizing the campfire evening, and we'll do this and we'll do that, and the skits and the whole thing, and it would be a riot, right? And the main thing is, you need to encourage people. You need to make them blossom, not make them feel they aren't good enough.
ah, how cool is that? Amazing. And so you finished your grade 10 from St. Mary's, right?
Right.
And yeah. So how traumatic was your board exam? I mean, was it? Or did you manage it?
I,
Tic
I
tac.
passed.
You passed.
Celebration.
Celebration.
I did
Uh,
well in poetry and in literature,
uh-huh.
in history.
Okay.
The rest was Greek. No, so the rest was Greek. So it's difficult to understand. And I would open the book and I would stare at it and say, okay, let me try. But I passed.
Oh, you managed to get through one important milestone in life because back then and even today, the Huvi pass is like one 10th standard pass is like one,
Ah, yeah.
major pathway to life.
All right. But that's fine. It's
Yeah.
one of those hurdles you have to cross. Now that's part of our system. So we might as well go along with the system. But I think the system should be a little empathetic towards children who may not.
Diversities.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You were side by side. At what stage and phase in your life did you side by side start supporting your mom in the business? Because you've spoken about it before, and I have also read about it. The mom's the faithful business, if I'm right.
Yeah, I was.
Transport.
Yeah, I used to go in the holidays. I used to go on Saturdays and Sundays and sit on her lap while she was at the shop. Um, and it was a hot place, really hot place. And she was a single parent trying to be a tough woman in a man's world. And I know that inherently she's not a tough person. She had to become a tough person. And
Ah.
and then when I joined the Taj Mahal as a waiter, and then I had to join because mom had an accident, and suddenly I had to join the family business. Um, I I thought that once I go there, I'll get stuck, and I did. Once I go to the family dukan, we had a dukan literally, and I said once I sit here, I'll get stuck because my intention was always to do something creative, just get by, have a living, and then do something creative. And I did get stuck at the wafer shop.
Oh.
That's fine, but I learned the value of hard work. I learned the value of humility. I learned the value of how your hands can get burnt, picking up things, burning your hands on the kadai. Oil flies all over the place. Your body smells. It doesn't. No matter how many showers you have, your body smells. I think this is important for youngsters to know that hard work never killed anyone. The level of work is not demeaning. It doesn't matter. But honest day's work is important. But eventually, you got to be happy also. Um, I was happy to a point. I got married in that period. I got kids, and I realized, okay, I kind of settled down, and I was uncomfortable. I needed
Mm.
to do something else.
Yeah. But just a question, if I have to go back a little bit to ask you, I read that you trained yourself to become a waiter. How come you decided to do that training at Mithibai and
I didn't go to Mithibai.
waiter?
No, no, that is all on the internet. That's
Okay, that's not the truth.
not
Okay,
at all. No, no, no. I
okay,
didn't go to Mithibai College, or I didn't need to train myself. I went to a waiter's course actually.
okay. So,
And
okay.
then I joined the Taj Mahal Hotel, and then there was a lovely lesson. There was a Parsi manager over there, and he said, "Where do you want to? What department do you want to be in?" I said, "Food and beverage." He's saying, "Idiot, the whole hotel is about food and beverage." Which department? He said, "I said there's the Rendezvous restaurant, which is the French restaurant, the most expensive restaurant in the country." And he said, "Okay, that's good. Okay, very good, very impressive." I was 18 years old, I think, and and he says, "Okay, we'll send you there, maybe after a couple of years." I said, okay,
Oh,
where do I start? He's saying, you don't start. The restaurant was on the rooftop, right? He said, you
yeah.
don't start at the top, you start at the bottom. So you go down to, not even to the bottom, you go down to the basement. Go in the basement where there is the room service kitchen. And you walk around with trays, and then let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel. You walk around with trays. I had a lump here, a muscle that I developed here with the weight of the trays because I was just lifted left-handed, And believe it or not, and my feet in the shoes, because I used to walk miles and miles every day delivering trays in room service. Uh, my feet, in the webbing of my feet, would tear. So much of walking, and it feels good. It feels good. It feels good to know that you're making money. And I used to make a lot of money on tips. Um, and the rest of my family must have said, "यार ये तो waiter hai." I didn't care. Why? What's wrong? It's an honest day's job. Do anything because in the community maybe it may be frowned upon. Uh, I didn't find it frowned uponable. I thought I'm doing an honest job. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And then I worked at the shop, which was even more hard work. Really hard work. When I got married, I used to ask my wife. I've taken two baths. Just see if I'm smelling of potatoes and ghee, because my body used to smell of potatoes and ghee. And she said, "So what? That's your badge of honor. It's a It's a hard-working person's body. But that smell never went, because I used to sit and fry the wafers, and those fumes would go and get stuck. And I think you should be proud of that.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be proud of that.
Superb, superb. I mean, you know what? You're actually walking us through your life. We can actually picture you doing all of that and experience your emotions and feelings at that point of time. And so, in all of this, when did photography happen? So, you were doing photography in school and college days, right?
Very
Oh, a
little,
little bit, very
very
little.
little.
Okay.
It was a rich man's hobby. So every
Ha.
time I think of doing photography, my father, for some strange reason, I don't know why, I picked up photography, because my father was a wonderful photographer himself. I talked that tells you a thing or two about genes. And his I had one of his cameras, but those rolls were those 120 rolls, which were very expensive. So I kind of cracked the piggy bank of the tips that I made in the Taj Mahal hotel and bought myself a camera, and very basic camera, and I started doing photography, and I started doing school events, school sports day, cycle races, um, long jump, high jump, and I became very good at sports photography, motocross, things like that, and then started getting more and more jobs. But sports photography is not a profession, um, but but I wanted to specialize in something. The important thing was to understand, be a specialist in what you do, learn a craft, and then go all the way to be a specialist. So I started doing that, and it it kind of snowballed with a lot of hard work into a full-time career. When I was 32, and at that point of time saying, "You're changing tracks, baap kam, dhanda chhod ke you are going." I said, "But I want to be happy also." uh, and and I became a photographer. I did that for 14 years.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
kind of complete. So then, so the shop, the dukan was no
No,
longer your.
between
It
my
was there.
mother and I used to fill in for my wife used to fill in for me.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that was
So that
happening on the one
I
side.
could go and do that. And it was hard times. Those were the hardest times.
Hardest times
Yeah,
because
those were
it
the
was a
hard.
risk. It was a risk that you were taking.
I've realized one thing, that anything good that ever has to happen has to come out of some kind of risk.
Awesome.
Nothing came out of safety. Let's play safe, something good. So for me, that was a good thing, and it came out of a huge risk. And what was the risk? What constitutes a risk? I don't know. Unless and until it's your life, nothing is a risk. Nothing. What's the risk? You'll have to stop going to the movies on Friday, and you'll have to not buy new clothes on a festival day. What's the risk? Unless it's your life, there's nothing is a risk. As
So
long as you can put two square meals into, you've taken responsibility of your family, so you're obliged to feed them and educate them. uh,
exactly.
yeah, but the risk is, you'll fail, and then if you fail, you take another risk.
So wonderful. And so then there was a transition from photography to theater. Was that, or was it always happening parallelly? Was theater and
Theater came later, in between. I did it 3 or 4 years. I got on, the studio started paying for itself. I'd started a studio. Again, I had to pay my dues because I was now in advertising and I didn't know much about advertising. But I learned on the job, and I started doing okay. Um, and then I got into theater. It happened 4 years after I became a photographer. The first 2 years as a photographer were really, really hard. And I'm saying hard means really hard. Um, there
so
was
what
no,
were the hardships? What were the hardships that you're talking about? I mean, what kind of hardships that we would like to know?
there are two or three things. One is money. One is outgoings and bills to be paid, interest upon interest, petrol in the scooter, rice plate in the afternoon, no money. But somehow, I don't know how we managed. We had to sell off some personal things to pay for the interest upon interest. But the biggest hardship for a short period of time was boredom and frustration. That is the biggest hardship. Uh, and I'll tell you why. Because that can either make you or break you. So if you have decided that I don't know what to do with myself in the free time that I have, and I'm miserable and I'm unhappy, uh, and that can destroy you. The other option is, the other option is uh, look at it as if it was the pandemic. So in 1992 or whenever this, I don't know numbers very well. As I mentioned before, I'm dyscalculic. I don't remember numbers, and people think I'm joking. I really, really don't. So in that year, I must have been about 32. Um, there was a pandemic. There was a lockdown, not a coronavirus, but that was a lockdown I was inflicted upon. I was My lockdown was I have to sit in my studio from morning to night and have no work. So what do I do? Do I swat flies? What did we do during this pandemic? What did we do during this lockdown? Either we sit and grumble, one, or we watch Netflix from morning to night. And then what else can you? Or three, put it to good use. And if you put that time to good use, what will happen is you'll come out really strong, because work will happen someday. When the pandemic was raging and the lockdown was complete, people were saying, what are we going to do? You sharpen your tools, learn something new, do a refresher of what you know, keep becoming an expert, and use that time to be the best that you can be in your field. Because when it opens up, there's going to be so much work, because now the floodgates have opened. Similarly for me, when I was sitting in the studio, I said, I'm in the lockdown studio, and what do I do? And I said, I've got the best thing that's happened to me is time. Free time. So I would take one thing and put it on a table and put one light on it. And then I would put the light here. Then I 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 put a reflector. Then I put another light here. And do every single permutation and combination of sharpening my craft. I can't say I got a studio, so I'm open for business. That's not good. You've got to put in the hours of being the expert at your job. So during the pandemic, let me tell you, that was a pandemic without people falling sick. That was a pandemic in a lockdown kind of way. I was locked down in a studio for 2 years. I did not know where to go. Right? I had to sit from morning to night in a studio when no one was walking in and out. I had time. Right? In this lockdown, all those people who have spent their time well, when everything opens up soon enough, inshallah, when everything opens up soon enough, they will be geared for the rush. During this lockdown, I decided to sharpen my skills as a writer. Right? I decided to sharpen my skills as a writer. I had done 7 years of learning how to write. And how do I sharpen my skills? By teaching. I think teaching is also learning, right? You'll agree with me. Teaching is learning.
There's a quote that says to teach is to learn twice.
Is to learn twice. So what I did was I got a bunch of kids meaning bearded kids, who used to call me up and ask me advice on their screenplays. And I used to give them advice. And I said, so I used to give them advice every day over the last 5-6 years, right? And every day I would speak to them for half an hour, half an hour. I didn't know what this damn thing called Zoom is all about, right? So then somebody told me there's something called Zoom. I said, wow, I don't have to repeat myself 7 times. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell all these 7 guys to come to this thing, and I'm going to say it all one time. So we had one Zoom meeting. Beg your pardon. And then they said, can we get our friends in? I said, okay, make sure that we don't have more than 15. I can't have a classroom more than. And the next day, the 20 came. And today we have 350 people on the rolls. I teach every day. I teach
My
every day.
goodness. My
And during the lockdown, in I've done 295 1.5 to 2 hour sessions. So the point is, and I used to keep telling them, they say, can you put us onto this producer? Can you put us on? I said, are you ready to make your film today? There's a lockdown. Where are you going? No, we'll start talk. This is the time that God has given you to sharpen your tools. Just sharpen your tools. This is the time for education. We're sitting here. Don't talk about business and let's do some deal right now. This is the time for learning, and that's the blessing of the lockdown. Use it as a blessing. And we have a session every day. And I feel so proud because I turn on and said, why am I watching Netflix? We should know how to write for Netflix.
yeah, but
Yeah. And so that's the photography period, which was my lockdown in back in the day. I spoke a lot, but all
no,
right.
no, no. It's so enriching. I think the panel you've drawn is so amazing because I think a lot of parents sitting in this or watching from their homes, parents of young children, are going to resonate with this. Driving children to do something new through this lockdown has been one of the biggest challenges of most parents. Do something new, learn something new, hone your skills is something that probably they're not able to see. Coming from you, I think it's going to really
And
change the
there's
way.
a purity in that. And there's
Yes.
a purity in that. The strongest won't survive this. The purest will, because you've come with a certain purity of saying, I went back to this drawing board. You don't say, I'm a writer. Because I write, I'm intelligent. No. Answer 5 questions about this and you may not be able to answer. Now, go back to square one. Have the humility to go back to square one. And that people are, because suddenly everybody's become a star, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I got so and so is doing a film of mine, and yeah, okay, it was okay. So what? Learn how to write. Be a star in your own eyes. You know,
Wow.
yeah.
Amazing. And then the big moment of I mean, from theater, you did some amazing theater. I think I Am Not Bajirao ran for 10 years, and
Right,
that was an absolute runaway hit.
right.
But how did films happen to you?
Well, films happen because of an experimental film that we made on a Handycam. It was a film that we made in 7 days. Today it's a very commonplace thing. You make a film for YouTube, you shoot it on basic digital. Those days it was those what do they call them? Handycams,
Handycams.
which our uncles used to take in our weddings. Uncle used to walk around. तो स्टार्टर के एक मिनट स्टार्टर का शॉट लेगा, फिर लाइट का लेगा, फिर फूल का लेगा, फिर it was one of those cameras. We shot a movie. There was no YouTube back. It's exactly 21 years since we shot that film. And we shot a film which we wrote, and Ram Madhwani directed, and I also wrote and I acted in. And uh, and the beautiful part of it is that we knew that it's not going to go anywhere. We didn't have a platform to show it. We had nothing. We shot it in 7 days, and we said, okay. But someone actually saw the film. A producer saw the film, called me, and offered me a role in a film. Um, and he said, I'd like you to do the film. I said, what film? He said, I don't have a film. I said, then why are you offering me a role? He's saying, I want you to be in my next film. I said, okay, when it's ready, let me know. He gave me money also.
Oh,
Yeah, he gave me money. He said, here's the check. I said, what for? He said, for my next film. I said, but you don't have a film. When it comes, you've got the signing amount. You can't say no now. I said, okay. The point I'm making here is not to tell the world that, or tell the youngsters who are listening in, that I was so good that he gave me a signing amount. He said, no, I worked really hard to get that signing amount. I'll tell you what happened. My first play was a role that I got. It was a 3 minute role. It was a 3 minute appearance. And I said to myself, I got 3 minutes now. How long do I rehearse for 3 minutes? 3 hours, 3 days, 300 hours. But I have 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, that's something I always wanted in my life, right? To be on stage. Now, the point I'm making here is if you say it's a 3 minute role and no big deal, no, it's a big deal. That's what you wanted out of life, to walk onto a stage. You make it count. You have to make it count, right? I rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed on my own, and I could do that in my sleep. I had owned that 3 minutes. I owned it because it was mine, special, something that I did. I'm not very good at quotes, ma'am, but this one quote stuck in my head. It was a Bruce Lee quote. It said, Bruce Lee, the Kung Fu guy. You remember Bruce Lee?
Yes.
That guy. He said, I do not fear the man who practices 1,000 kicks, but I fear the man who has one kick and practices it 1,000 times. So the thing was, specialize. Make sure that you just become the best at that one thing at a time. Make sure. And I kept practicing it, and every time I stepped on all the rehearsals, all my teammates and crew members would clap for me, and I said, okay, now, but you got to deliver on stage, because that's another ball game. And it happened. Those 3 minutes paid up. The audience applauded, and I said, brother, don't be fooled by applause. Remember that. Don't let anything go to your head. And I made a name for myself from that one 3 minute role in theater. That's all it takes sometimes. You must never say, छोटा है या वो let's talk picture experimental है. ऐसे कभी नहीं बोलना चाहिए. आपका नाम है उसके ऊपर, so it is special. And I do believe in that. You have to make sure that if you have put in your time, it's special. Doesn't matter if there's no fame attached to it or money attached to it. Your name, nobody knows you, but your name will be on it forever.
Wow.
And if it's engraved there, make sure that it's special.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. My goodness me. These are like words of wisdom and words of actual experience. I mean, these are lived experiences and lived lessons of wisdom coming from you. So amazing to hear them. So when films happened to you, what were some of the deciding factors when you were choosing what you'd like to do? Were there certain principles that you had chosen for yourself that ye main karunga aur ye nahi karunga? Was it like that, or do you like to do, because somewhere, I don't know, I mean, maybe we're wrong, but somewhere there's a certain pattern that we see, that you've taken such meaningful, humane roles. I don't know how that has happened. Is that who you are? I mean, is that how it comes across? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm just.
No, I don't know. I don't know that, because I've played some very mean people, humanely mean.
That's okay. That's a role.
But I don't know. So that's good, because what the output of the film is important.
Yes.
What's the film saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I see films in 2 or 3 different ways. One is it's a profession. Number one, it's an art form. But eventually, when you do commercial movies, it is the altar to which the common man goes to laugh and enjoy. It doesn't need to be a comedy, but he goes it's for escapism. Your job is to entertain also. So you entertain. So there'll be some silly movies that I may have done, and as long as people are entertained, I'm pretty happy. Number one. Number two is you should make sure that you've got a home to run. Everybody likes to live a good life. And 3 is, I think, yes, movies that say something. At least out of 5, 1.5 movies should say something and not just be mere entertainment.
Yes.
People should go home saying, you know what? that movie touched me, and I think it's important. You got to choose those movies. And after everything, I refuse to work with people who aren't good people. I don't want to. When I give months and months of my time, including a narration, including a rehearsal, I don't want to work with people who are not nice. It's very simple. Because I've got to spend,
Yeah.
I've got to travel with you. I've got to have meals with you. I don't want to be influenced by things that don't appeal to me and my sensibility. So as long as, when people say, "Ye to bahut bada hit ho gaya," but I didn't enjoy myself making the film. What's the point? Hits and flops to aayenge jayenge, usse kya karenge hum log? But it was a nice film. It was a humongous flop. But you know what? I learned so much about humanity. Those 6-8 months are good enough, because you can't choose which one's going to be a hit or which one's going to be a flop. There'll be a mega blockbuster film that can flop, and that can be a small little film that can become a hit. You got to be happy. And there's no price for happiness. There is no price.
So if I can ask you, from the amazing plethora of movies that you have done, which are the ones that you really enjoyed doing and you had tremendous amount of learning from those films? Which were those ones?
I think, the Munna Bhai experience, the Three Idiots experience, no question. The Khosla Ghosla experience. It was really hard on me in Khosla Ghosla.
Yes.
I did not know how to deal with a character I'd never met. I had to do so much research, and a lot of people counted me out. A lot of people felt I would be a disaster in that role, simply because I'm not Khosla.
Not Khosla.
You are Parsi. I said, yeah, okay, but now I've got to work harder. Challenges are good things, And they used to make it, ye nahi kar payega. And on my face. Acha, okay. Let me see. And I say, why do you think so? Parsi ho. But I'm also an actor, buddy. Right?
Right.
If you ask me to play a Parsi, I'm not that guy.
In any case, yes, even if I may be a Parsi.
I don't even talk like that guy. I'm just familiar with him, so I'll become familiar with you. See, it's so simple. And I said, if you feel like don't know, these are actors who would say, I want to do the role, and I should have been. I said, okay, I prepared so much. I said, I'm sorry, but I got the role. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything. I prepared. I said, what did you prepare? I prepared. I said, okay, teach me.
But you cracked every role, and as laymen, we always say that through a role that any person essays on the screen, if we can't see the person in that role, then I don't see Boman Irani in that role. I only see Khosla. I don't see Boman Irani. I only see Asthana. I will only remember Asthana. So that, I think, is probably the epitome of the amazing craft that you have up your sleeve. So, right, I'm just mindful of the time, and there's just so much that I want to ask you, but I'm going to get straight into.
I want to ask. There's a gentleman called Vedant.
Oh yes, Vedant Bargat, are you here?
Can we get him on the screen? Because
yes, Vedant Bargat is here. Hi, Vedant, come and
turn on your camera, man, Vedant.
Turn on your camera, Vedant. Vedant, I sent your written questions to Sir in the afternoon.
That's how I know who you are, Vedant. How are you, man? Vedant?
I'm fine.
You're good. Vedant, go ahead. Ask me what you want to know.
Yes, sir.
Ask your question, Bacha.
Sir, I've texted a message. I think the ma'am texted his message.
So, Sir is asking you to ask any of the questions.
Okay, I'll tell you. I know your question since afternoon, Vedant. I just thought maybe you can say it to everyone, but you can say it aloud.
Yeah.
But what's my daily routine, Vedant? I wake up in the morning and I say, what a wonderful day. and I say to myself that what is it that I can learn that is new, not just as an academic enterprise, but also as a human being. We have to learn something new as human beings. And I feel otherwise, if there is no change in your thinking between the time, say, you are 20 years old and 60 years old, then what you've done is that you've wasted 40 years of your life. You have to keep thinking more and more differently, create, find more and more reasons to look forward to things. That's actually part of my daily routine. Yeah, what do you want me to say? I brush my teeth, I have my tea, I chat with my wife, I
So,
go.
sir, my fourth question is, tell us about how is your two life experience.
How is
Your
your
true life experience.
Sir,
my school life?
School life. So, sir told us, right? Yes, he did mention you were there right from the beginning, Vedant?
Yeah, he was there.
yes,
I
ma'am.
remember. He
Yes,
was there.
ma'am. I
I'm
still
keeping an eye on
remember.
this Vedant.
So, ma'am, I have third question. How is your what do you like to do other than acting in the movies, advertisements, and serials? Do you do? How do you like that?
Besides acting in the movies, what do I like to do? Is that the question?
Yes,
Your audio is.
that's right. That's right, Baman.
Well,
That's the question.
I
Yeah,
love
acting in the
music.
movies and the serials.
The
What else?
audio isn't great, but what I'm understanding, what do you like to do besides acting in the movies? Vedant, I really like music. I get extremely moved by music and good lyrics and good songs. I try to learn a little bit of music. I enjoy the process of writing because through writing there's something very personal. I just like to write. I find it a very beautiful expression. Um, I like to watch movies also, like you.
Sorry, my first question yeah, yes. Sir.
Yeah,
So,
and your first.
my first question goes to you, sir. Which movie do you like? Which
Which
I was telling you, Khosla
movie
Ka
do you like?
Ghosla.
it
That
was?
is yeah, that's my favorite film.
It
That's
is?
my favorite film.
Oh,
Yeah.
one of your favorite
Yeah.
films. It's yeah, it's an amazing movie. Such an amazing movie. Thank you so much, Vedant. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for being
Vedant.
here.
Thank
May
Ma'am,
I
you.
ask a
actually,
question,
ma'am, I
please?
have heard about
Nadia
Happy New
Momin has
movie.
sent a message. She's
Yes,
asked
yes. There are a
Nadia.
lot of questions that are coming
Nadia.
up. I'm going to ask all of you to just hold up. Let me finish my Zen 10 questions, my fun questions.
Okay, everybody,
And
hold up now. Okay, let's go.
okay, so let me just finish with that, and then we will move because once that opens up, it's like a whole bunch of
One
questions
sec, Manjushri, one sec. What is this Zen 10 questions?
coming to you.
No. I just want to know every day. My
Eh,
wife, whose name is Zen, her name is Zenobia. We call her. She has 10 questions for me every day. And I have to sit and answer those questions here also. What is going on?
I didn't realize this. I so didn't see this coming.
इसके
Okay, these
सवाल
are
के जवाब देते देते मेरी दाढ़ी सफेद होगी और यू आस्किंग मी नाउ 10 more. चलो Zen 10.
well, Zen questions. 10 Zen questions, fun questions.
All right.
Okay. So, okay. What is one of the best things that your teacher told you in school? One of the best things.
Be an original.
Ah,
Be an original. Don't
wow.
if you like someone, be inspired by that someone, but do it your own way.
Kya
Be
baat
an
hai.
original. Yeah,
Kya baat
that's
hai. And
very
if I had to ask you, what was one of the worst things that you heard in your school days from your teachers or from
You're a
your
duffer.
you actually heard that? You actually heard the word duffer in school?
Yeah.
Kind of. Oh, not so very pleasing. If you were to be a teacher, which subject would you like to teach?
Correction. I am a teacher.
I'm a teacher.
And I have been teaching for the whole 292 sessions I've taught. I don't know how many semesters that would account for. If you look at 2 hour sessions, 292 sessions.
Multiplied by no, forget it. Don't ask us. We are not asking you to do the math. It's okay.
You also don't know math.
The less said, the better.
Less said, the better.
Yeah.
I enjoy teaching. I enjoy teaching writing.
Nice, nice. So you would quite obviously be a writing
Because
teacher.
humanity is involved in it. You talk about, in writing, there's a lovely tool actually in writing.
Mhm.
We study about structure in writing, 3-act structure, graphs of the character, wants and needs and things. But there's one very important thing that we teach in class, and I think you can teach that in life also.
Mhm.
That a man, or rather the hero or the protagonist, as we call them, a man is the architect of his own misery. And if you say that, this happened to me and that happened to me, okay, one sec, how much of it was your fault? You have to figure that out. And if it is your fault, please acknowledge it and correct it. So when you see a movie and you realize that the hero and the hero always has to overcome hardships, right? Uh, how much of it is his fault is very important. And the more you make it the hero's fault, only then will the hero be able to redeem himself, if you know what I'm saying. But if it is somebody else's fault, then he's only conquered a bad guy. But the hero must have failings in the film. So in real life, we all have failings. And all your problems are because of your own failings, not because somebody did something to you. Oh, my movie didn't do well because they didn't promote it properly. No, don't blame anyone else. Blame yourself.
Wow. That's a profound thing, and I think it's a great way to lead your life. Take charge, take responsibility
Yeah?
of what you do, your own actions, your own thoughts.
You are the architect of your own misery.
Yes, of your own misery. Okay. If you were a college professor, which would you prefer, Dr. Asthana or Viru Sahasrabuddhe?
Neither of them.
Yeah, no?
Because they are
No?
both.
Then who is your college favorite professor? And what were the traits of that professor? Or, lady professor?
So there was one professor in Mehuna who was utterly useless, but he was a sweet fellow.
That was you.
At least he spread energy. At least he was a happy guy. Oh, don't worry. Okay, he had energy, and he was humble and he was sweet. So, but useless teacher. Maybe, but I think in that sense that Asthana was also a useless teacher, and so was Iris.
So was Virus because of
They were not great teachers because they only taught you one way. They never let the students think for themselves.
Which of your life's days of your life, which of the phases do you think taught you the most? Your school days, your college days, or your days as a waiter, or a person who was waiting in the photography studio? So that kind of a waiter because you were waiting. So which was the phase that you think you were?
Every yesterday,
Eh,
because you have to realize, and we can learn from our mistakes all the time. So there was a phase in school, and then we turn around and say when we are successful, actually you're learning the least in many ways because you're just reaping something. And then you turn around and say this is not going to last forever, right? And you've got to understand that you are making mistakes by saying that you're successful. Successful at what? You were part of a hit film. So what? So what? Is that the yardstick of success? So you've got to figure out what your yardstick of success is. Is it money? Is it fame? Is it learning something new? Is it doing something for someone else? So being part of a hit film is okay.
Not your yardstick of success, probably.
It's great. It's great to be part of a hit film.
Yes.
You delivered to your director and the audience what you were supposed to. There's an honesty in that. Then what? You can't say, I'm successful. Yeah. What about the internal journey?
True.
There is
So,
an external journey and there's an internal journey.
yeah, I've been wanting to ask you, and I think I skipped it when we were talking about your school. You spoke in the fleeting, you talked about how you did have a lisp and you have overcome it. How did that possibly happen? I mean, you've said in one of the earliest talks that, you spoke exactly like the Astana. Is that right? Yes. So,
Right.
how did you overcome that?
It's, I made a big deal out of it as a kid. I'm speaking of, so what if people are making fun of you? So when I use that as Viru Sahasrabuddhe, he didn't care. He didn't care. There's a scene in the film, I think it's cut out from the film, but I performed that piece. I mean, you're making fun of my lisp, so So what's the big deal? Laugh. It's okay. I put that in. I think it got cut in the edit. But that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever. Some people are stuck with greater. The first thing I'd ever done, directed, was a film on the blind. All right, and this is one great lesson that I learned. I went to them and I spoke to the family, and I wanted to shoot this film about a blind mother and a blind father. And she said, Padma Rapos. I'm talking about 25 years ago. I went and met them, maybe more. Padma
Okay.
Rapos is that lady's name. Going to their house in Mahakali. I still remember.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I'm so grateful to you for doing this film about awareness for the blind. And she said, one thing, whatever you're making, don't make people pity us. We are normal people. In our world, we are normal. All right. So please understand that in your world, you might think that you should feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for myself. And it just opened my eyes and said, so what? Everybody has problems. People learn to live with it, and people learn to be happy with it. And she told me an amazingly funny story. And she said, I am normal in my head. So I'm giving the rickshaw driver instructions. And we are going in the rickshaw. And she's saying right, left, right. But then I got distracted by something, and then he missed the turn. I said, either right, Maro. So the rickshaw guy took the... Oh, sorry. Barabar bola na, andhi hai kya? He said that. And she said, haan, andhi hu. And she could make a thing out of it herself. That she says, so what? I am blind, but I'm showing you the way, probably better than some person who is not blind and has no sense of direction. You know what I mean? Don't feel sorry for people because they don't. You should encourage people rather.
Wow, super. I mean, these are thoughts that we probably go through, but we don't hold on to them, That it's okay to have those shares of ups and downs. Okay, I'm going to ask you one question here. What was your favorite college canteen food? Since I'm having some fun questions here, I thought I'll ask you this question.
Idli vada,
Vada pav.
vada pav with the pav, or even we put bhajia, kanda bhajia
Aha.
in the pav.
Kya baat hai. And do you get the chance to eat street food even now? I saw a photograph of you during Parmanu having pani puri.
Yeah.
With the Rashtrapati Bhavan at the backdrop.
Rashtrapati Bhavan, yeah, I've gone to Bengal market and also had.
You've had it?
Yeah, I stopped. See, I'll say one thing. Just because you become some kind of celebrity doesn't mean you don't have the right to have what? So what? I keep saying, so what? What'll happen? Some people will come and ask for selfies. You know what the best thing to do is? Just tell them, let me finish eating, we'll take selfies.
Wow.
Right? And people say, hey, khane do. And I sit and I eat. And my team always says, Are, kahan ja rahe ho? Driver will say, mat jao. Kya hoga? Why should I deny myself life's simple pleasures? I am crazy about pani puri. What are you going to do about it? And if there's a big crowd over there, we'll take a few selfies. I'll jump in the car, keep the motor running, and I'll go away. I won't eat. But if you respect their space, they'll respect yours. I said, let me eat 2 plates. I'm going to eat 2 plates. Kitna time lagega? 2 plates. Kha liya. Okay, 2-4 selfie le liya. Jao. I feel one must, and that's also fun, no? That's also fun.
That's also fun. And
it's
a pleasure. It's a small pleasure of life. Okay, there's one question that I have in my mind, which just came to me while I saw some lovely and endearing pictures of you with mom.
Right.
What is the one thing that you did that made you the happiest? You did for your mom that made you the happiest, made her obviously happy, but made you very happy that you did this for mom.
I think spending time. The lockdown has taught me that you can spend more time. The lockdown has done a lot of good in many ways. You should not just look at the bad.
Yes.
I know the migrant workers have suffered. A lot of my friends have suffered health-wise, financially. Everybody suffered.
Yes.
You must learn to take the good away. So so we have a, you know, session in the evening with chai, and she'll ask some 58 questions, and you have to have, I might come up with 5 answers, but okay, read a poem. Luckily, we have Google, and we got to use Google for good things rather than trolling people on social media. I feel that's a waste of time, kids. Trolling people on social media is just reflective of your own frustration. I mean, if somebody trolls somebody, I'd say go in front of that person and ask that person that question if you really had the guts. So I find it a little disturbing that kids to spend time on social media but learn something else. Uh, and being angry with the world is not going to help you, because you are the architect of your own misery. You're the one who's miserable. The other guy is laughing. What difference does it make to him? He'll say, so what if somebody told me? Anyway, coming back to so I would pick up a poem, read some poems for her. She's got an amazing memory. She would make me start a poem and then she'll rattle it off herself. I think she said, how do I remember? I said, very good. She's 94 years old. So obviously she's doing this after 80 years. She's recalling stuff she learned in school. And that's the Parsi gene working over there.
Wow.
Also, spending time with her and talking to her about, she likes to hear about good people and great achievers. So read a story about a great achiever. So I'll read about our people, freedom fighters and great statesmen. Lal Bahadur Shastri, she's very fond of. So she says, read more about Lal Bahadur Shastri. Read more about Abdul Kalam. Read more. And it just makes her feel nice that there are good people in this world.
Wow.
And I think for a 94-year-old person who can't read because her eyes aren't good and she can't watch television, I think spending time is a great thing. I think she may have been happy about many things that may have happened through me, but I think spending time is a big thing.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. I think that's the one thing that everybody is falling short of, to give each other. And the lockdown has actually helped us value that, the time that we spend with our loved ones, with our family.
Right.
And one final, 2, 3 simple questions and fun ones, okay? Negative role, comic role, which have you preferred doing? Or
Even if I do a comic role, I don't go out try to make people laugh. I just stick to the moment and the character. And if people laugh, they laugh. So the moment they let's make it funny, you're trying. Don't be honest to the moment. And so it doesn't matter. Even in a comic role, you might say, he's pretty. But, in Khosla, people used to laugh at the certain things that I did, but he was not being funny. So I don't care. I really don't care. It doesn't matter. But I like to work on a happy set. Let me put it that way.
yes.
I don't like to work on a set where the directors come. Yeah, okay. Take it easy. Let's have fun also, right?
Yeah.
You don't have fun. How are they going to have fun, idiot? Sorry to.
But so true, so true. I think that's the hallmark of a person who's understood the craft of performance, because if you have fun, it kind of exudes. It goes there. It's like an infection. It goes out there.
Right.
Okay, you joined the films a little in your second, later stage in your life. But supposing you are okay, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I take my words back. But anyways, even so, if you had a heroine that you was to be starred opposite you, running around trees and all of that kind of thing, who would it be?
And I'm enjoying the silliness of the question very much.
I'm trying to picture kitabe bahut si, or dancing around trees, or doing all of those.
What makes you think I've not done it already? No, I'm just.
You've done it, but if you were 22, 23 and you were doing it, who would it be?
So my
You?
favorites back in the day were Mumtaz and
Ah.
Neetu Singh, and I love Mumtaz and I love Neetu Singh, and
Mhm.
I've told Neetu Singh already, and Madhuri Dixit would have been a great idea, but they're so lovely.
I know.
Madhuri is such a lovely lady. She's such a lovely lady,
Yes.
and.
And we'd love to. Well, we can quite imagine you doing Dhak Dhak with her. It would have been so nice, no?
No, if not Duck Duck, then something else. But yeah, why not with Madhuri Dixit?
I
She's so beautiful. I just love her very much. Not
know.
not
True.
not just because of what she looks so beautiful, but I think the way she speaks and there's a genuine kindness and
Yes,
an elegance in what she does. Love
indeed, and super talent. Undeniably, super talent.
It could be the greatest performance, but if you're pain to be with, I'm not interested in you. I've spent a lot of time with Mumtaz. I call her Mumtaz auntie only. Mumtaz auntie. Rajesh Khanna kaise the? अरे राजेश खन्ना काका के साथ मैंने बहुत सारे hits दिए. She's so sweet, and I was walking around her like a little fanboy with her bags at the airport once we had gone for IFA. I was kind of taking care, and I said, Mumtaz auntie, ye chahiye, wo chahiye. We're doing shopping together. I said, this is fantastic. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. This little kid who thought Mumtaz is the greatest in the world. I'm sitting and walking around like a little puppy with her duty-free bags.
Oh, nice. Nice. Last question. You've made us laugh.
The last 18 questions were the last question. I'm charging 1 rupee for each question.
Okay, I will pay you. NEFT. No, this is, God promised, the last question. You've made us laugh. What makes you laugh? You've made us laugh. And how?
I think, within the family, we are always ready to laugh at someone's gaffe. I think it's very nice when the comedy comes from within the family. Whether it's my mother or my wife or my kids, or one of our maids is really hilarious. And we laugh and we laugh and we laugh. And that's nice, because laughter in the family is a good thing. Because if we can make fun of each other, then we are in a good space.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are always looking out to pull someone's leg within the family. My mom's very funny. Zenobia is unintentionally funny. Then
and of course, the grandchild must be giving, so of course not laugh. They do these fun little things which make you laugh.
Little things, yeah.
And your dogs, your princess.
One is not so funny. She's always looking at my face. Everything okay? And then you're upset about something, she's looking at your face. Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. My dog, the other one is a lunatic, so it works perfectly.
Two of them, right?
Right.
Two lovely dogs. Right. So this kind of
last question coming up.
No, boss, I am done with my share of questions, and I know there are a lot of people who raise their hands. If you have a few more moments to spare with us, then we shall definitely take those few questions. I can see a lot of questions. Yeah, okay. Let's start with Viraj. Viraj, will you like to ask Boman sir a question? Anjali, and you can go next. All right. Viraj is a student of Standard 10 of Aatman Academy. Please go ahead, Viraj.
Salam, sir.
Hi, Salam. How are you, man, Viraj?
How are you, sir? I'm good.
Tell me.
My question to you: how do you feel to play so many roles like pirates and doctors? How do you feel to play the roles?
How do I feel?
Yeah. How do you feel? You feel funny? You feel kiddiness?
I think I feel there are 2 or 3 feelings. One, it's a privilege that you can face a camera. Not everybody gets that opportunity. 2, it's fun because you're creating something new which will be there forever. And then 3 is the responsibility. You have to deliver. You can have fun, but the 3 is the responsibility. And I feel there are times that, if you have fun, half the responsibility is done because you're relaxed. You're relaxed and you have to deliver. People are paying you money. It's people's years of work have gone into that one script. You can't say, I'll have fun and what's it? Okay, say the line. You've got to work really hard. Really hard. And it takes months to get to that one moment in front of the camera. It really takes months. I've been writing a script for myself that I'm going to 7 years I'm working on it. 7 years. So when I finally shoot it, I will feel privileged that I got to direct something which I wanted to do all my life. 2, I want to have fun doing it because that's what you worked for. And 3, the responsibility to the person who wrote it. In this case, it would be me.
Yes.
Who spent time behind it. Somebody's put money behind it. And then, of course, the audience who expect something good and are paying good money to watch it. It's great fun, Viraj.
When the first time you acted, how do you feel it? First time you
Scared.
acted for whenever you act first, how do you feel when you start the shooting and you at the first scene? How do
Oh,
you
the
feel?
first time you shot.
Nervous energy, really nervous. Because it's because you've got to hide that nervousness, because I'm playing an arrogant guy. I can't be a nervous arrogant guy, right? I'm playing
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
arrogant guy. You can't do that, right? So there is you are and acting is putting it out there and hiding your true emotions sometimes. If I'm scared, I've got to hide that somehow or the other. That's acting, actually. It's scary. It's scary, but once you get rolling, then it's fun. Once you're flying, then it's fun. It's like an exam. How was the paper? It was the worst paper in the world. Why? Because I didn't work hard on it. How was the paper? Yeah, pretty good. Why? Were you nervous? Yeah. Why was it good? Because I worked hard on it.
Wow.
Just a
Right,
request
the
to
right.
you.
Thank you, Viraj. Thank you so much. That's the right thing you've said to a child who's in standard 10. Just be a
Yeah.
good flyer. You've been saying that right from the beginning. Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
sir.
Viraj. Let's go next to Anjali. Anjali, if you
Ma'am,
can each ask one question, because there are lots of people who want to ask questions, so we'll ask just one question if you know. Hi,
Okay,
Anjali.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Hi, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Good.
Good morning. Good
Oh,
evening. Good night.
oh,
Morning.
sorry.
We started in the morning. Abhi raat ho gayi hai.
नहीं, sorry, sir. Good evening.
Good evening,
My
Anjali.
question is, means how you enter to industry? What was struggle to come to industry?
See, the struggle was in the theater period where I don't know if you can call it a struggle, but the struggle is to work so hard that you can do as many auditions as you can. But if you've not worked hard on your craft, nobody's going to hire you. And for me, I had done a lot of theater. So I did about 14 years of theater, Anjali. 14 years and working really, really hard. And that includes lifting sets.
Yeah.
All right. And the craft and the pain and they'll notice you. They'll notice you some way or the other.
Hmm.
If you paid your dues, they'll notice you.
Wow.
And last question, sir, means where you go to acting institute?
I could not go to an institute. So I used to read a lot and work a lot and improvise a lot and in the house and close the door and read and watch a lot of films, become a student, make a lot of notes.
Oh.
Hmm.
And you do that even now? You do that even now? Thank you, Anjali. You do that
Thank you,
even now
ma'am.
when you do a new role?
Oh, absolutely. Uh, I'll tell you something, Manjushri ma'am. I make notes even today. I called you and asked you so many questions this morning. What is the takeaway? What not? And every day I'm sitting and I'm making notes. Even if I'm doing a corporate function, I'm making sure that it's a corporate function. I just have to talk about my life story. But I'll sit and find out on Friday. That was yesterday, right? Um, what are the ethics of the company? Uh, who's the boss? Who's the what it takes to win? What are your ethics? What are your risks? What is your
Wow.
motto?
Wow.
Yeah. How do you open up to innovation? uh, Humility. Someone said humility has to be. So I'd make a note of whatever that person is saying. I just make a note, and people in organization, instead of saying that I'm from the HR department, I sit and make notes. I just don't write down the time of the show, but I write down everything. Where are people listening in from?
Wow.
Country, so that I know what language to use, how much of English versus how much of Hindi versus, and I have to sit and so that's even this is just for a 1 hour talk, 45 minutes, and I sit and make notes because that's preparation, and I
That's
think preparation is everything. Preparation is everything. Here again, for this other company, what are your ethics over here?
ah.
Yeah, that gives you a launch pad of what to speak about. I asked Manjush, I called her in the afternoon before taking a nap. Before in the morning, I said, give me the takeaway. What do you want your children to take away from this? And I make a note of it.
I think this so closely, connects with this adage that we talk about. God lies in details. Every little detail needs to be taken care of, and I think even as a story writer, you must be doing that a lot.
Yeah, and there is something that someone said, Manjushri, you said today, you do that even today. I think more so today.
Oh, okay.
More so today, because now I have got the experience. So just because you have the experience doesn't mean it's a walk in the park. It becomes more scary because if you are experienced, you say, but I've got the experience. Ask Virat Kohli to say, I have played in so many test matches, but don't go to the nets in the morning before a big match. Don't warm up before a big match. Just go and play bat. You're experienced. You know what I'm saying? He's going to fail.
He's going to fail.
He's
Totally.
going to work even harder because now he's the captain and he's now considered the best in the world. Now you got to live up to that reputation.
Actually.
Yeah.
Chandrakesh, would you like to ask her the next question?
Chandrakesh, come on, show me a face.
Hello.
Ma'am, after Chandrakesh, can I go?
Who is that?
It's me, Asma.
Okay, yes, Asma, bacha. Next, you can go. Your hand is not raised, so I didn't know. Yes, Chandrakesh.
Raise your hand, Asma.
I didn't see your name.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, Chandrakesh,
Good
bolo.
evening. Sorry, good evening.
Good evening. Good afternoon में शुरू किया था अभी evening तक एक question बोले. Last question. मैं पागल हो गया. बोल
सर
चंद्रकेश.
मतलब सर मुझे एक सर आपके समय आपने कितना सारा जीवन में मतलब कितने सारे दिक्कतें फेसिंग की है सर.
बहुत किया. आपने सुना ना अभी सर ने जो बोला था तो
सब कुछ मैंने सुना है कि पैसे की तकलीफ भी होती है, काम नहीं मिलता है उसकी तकलीफ होती है, फ्रस्ट्रेशन होता है, वक्त का प्रॉब्लम. क्या करें ये वक्त के साथ क्या करेंगे हम? इतना टाइम है मेरे पास, मैं क्या बैठे रहूं ऐसे देखते रहूं दरवाजे की तरफ कि कोई आएगा दरवाजे? कोई आने वाला नहीं है. जब जितनी मेहनत करोगे ना आप, तब वो दरवाजे से खोलकर कोई अंदर आएगा, तब तक कोई आने वाला नहीं है. So you have to really work hard all your life.
Yes, Chandrakesh aspires to be in the acting space someday soon, and we will encourage him for that. Asma would like to go next. Thank you, Chandrakesh.
Asma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, bacha.
So I actually have a request for you, sir. That please, can you just say one dialogue from your favorite movie?
Yeah, Asma. Okay. करेंगे लास्ट में करेंगे. That's
last
all.
में.
Okay.
लास्ट में डायलॉग, लास्ट में सर पर सॉन्ग भी बोलेंगे. He is such a
और 2 रुपया लगता है गाने के लिए.
Amazing singer. Yes, there are a couple of more hands up now. These are going to go more out of hand. Many hands. Yes. Navjot, would you like to ask the question?
Yes, ma'am. Sir, I want to ask. Good evening, sir.
Navjot,
Sorry.
good evening. Turn on your camera. I can't see you.
Navjot, where are you from? आप कहाँ से हो?
I am from Patiala, from Punjab.
मालूम है पटियाला पंजाब में नवजोत.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
अरे too good. Camera on करो.
Oh, sir, I on the camera, but it couldn't on from the host.
Okay. 1 second. I don't know what might have happened. Sorry. Oh God.
सवाल पूछ लो नवजोत, सवाल पूछ लो.
Now you can.
सवाल पूछ लो नवजोत. Navjot is telling us
sir, I am
from Patiala, Punjab. Patiala, Birmingham. Bolo.
Sir, I am a mother of a girl. I want to ask that in movie Three Idiots, it was shown that we should do whatever we want to do. So, sir, how can we make our child like that so that they can be according to our wish? Means whatever we want to make them,
Whose
they
wish?
can
Whose
also
wish?
be.
Whose wish, Navjot?
Means we means parents.
Okay, ये टफ क्वेश्चन है नवजोत. अच्छा किया आपने ये सवाल पूछा, लेकिन ये टफ क्वेश्चन है, इसलिए आपको बुरा नहीं लगना चाहिए. You should not feel bad with my answer.
Okay, sir. No, sir, I just want to ask that how can we know that our child want to be this? So according to that, we can make our mind set that our child want to be this.
Very good, very good. It's a progressive thought. So, pehle to, you know, I think you should let the child do what they feel happy doing. You will recognize as a parent, आपको समझ में आएगा कि ये बच्चा क्या कर रहा है और कहाँ पे खुश है. And if they are happy, believe me, बहुत एक जमाने में there used to be a time where कोई लड़का बोले मुझे मेकअप करना है, तो somebody will turn around and say makeup, पागल हो गया, बाजू वाला तो इंजीनियर बना, डॉक्टर बना, तू मेकअप आर्टिस्ट बनेगा. And you see him or her and see if that person is happy doing what they want. क्या उसमें खुश है कि नहीं? और आज makeup artists are making doing so well for themselves. But you should never stop anyone from chasing their dreams. You must never stop anyone from chasing their dreams. इतना कर लेना नवजोत, ठीक है?
Wow. बच्चे को पूछना उसको किस चीज में खुशी है, and then you will find the answer. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
One more question. One more question I want to ask.
पूछ लो नवजोत from Patiala.
Sir, I am a teacher. Sir, I also want to be best. I want to always do my best. So, but means every time I thought that I think that means I also can do better. So means how can I do this?
Navjot, how does one become better? Learn one thing every day, something new. One thing. You should be ready and open to learn. कुछ नया सीख लो, एक चीज, एक नया अल्फाज भी सीख लिया डिक्शनरी खोल के, लेकिन एक चीज नया सीख लो.
क्या बात?
बस. और दूसरे दिन आपको लगेगा कि मैं दो चीज सीख लूंगी. And then you'll feel that you need to learn a third thing. Then suddenly you'll start learning a new system or a new system of education. Everything happens in baby steps. पहले एक चीज सीखने को कोशिश करो.
I am a big fan of yours.
Sorry,
sir, I am a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
I am a big fan of yours, sir.
I can feel it.
Thank you so much, Navjot. Thank you so much for asking your questions. I'm going to quickly rush to Madhura Vrisha because that's a new name I see here. Madhura, would you like to join us? Your hand is raised. Would you like to join us?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi. Madhura, where are you from?
Kalyan.
You're from Kalyan, Madhura. Madhura. Hi, Madhura.
Kalyan se.
It's Vrisha.
Vrisha. Okay, Vrisha. Hi, Vrisha. Good to meet you, Vrisha. You're from Kalyan. Would you like to ask sir the question?
Ask your question, Vrisha.
Ask. Sir, हिंदी में पूछो चलेगा. Meaning of the name.
Meaning of my name? The meaning of my name? What a nice question.
What a nice question indeed.
Her name is Vrisha.
Yes.
Vrisha Madhura. My name, the meaning is it's Vahuman. I think there's this Vahuman. I think there may be a word in. It's a Persian name, Bahman, Boman, which means that great mind. Man, it's great mind, Boman. And I think it could be connected to many languages are connected to Sanskrit maybe.
Vahuman.
Great mind.
Great mind. Oh, okay. Yes, Vahuman. Vahuman. There's a cafe, right, in Pune.
Right.
Vahuman, very famous cafe.
I think गलती से मुझे नाम दे दिया. गलती से दे दिया. Great.
नहीं ऐसे मत कहिए सर. In fact, you've lived up to that name actually. Thank you, Vrisha. Thank you so much for your question. Ashlesh Pawar, if you are around. Ashlesh boss, he's the first student of our school. Ashlesh Pawar, and he's today in the industry himself. He's into music. Ashlesh, are you there, beta? Because if you're not, I'll just go to the next this thing. Or are you? Okay, let me go to Gun. Gun. Gun, you want?
Hello, sir.
Hi, Gun.
Good evening, sir. Good morning. Good evening, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good evening. No problem. Jo bhi ho. Gun, bolo.
Good evening.
चलेगा
So I just wanted to ask you a question.
जी
Was that if you get your life, you get a 1 hour time to go back to your past in your school days, and what would be the first thing you would like to do?
That's such a lovely question, actually. I would, don't misunderstand me, but I would go back to school and be a little more grateful to all my teachers. I think that we don't thank them and acknowledge them enough. And we try to do it in retrospect later on in life. But I would love to go and tell them, that I hope I didn't trouble you too much. Because sometimes we are attention seekers, and we sometimes will be getting on our teachers' nerves. But I know that my teachers actually loved me very much. But maybe I troubled them, because whenever there was anything, the teachers used to sit and we used to sit and talk like like friends, do a lot of planning. All the picnics, I was मुझे staff room में बुला के planning करता था. So they should trust me for all the fun stuff. I don't know whether I appreciated them enough. So I would have loved to have gone back and appreciated them and thanked them and give them a little kiss, Yeah.
Sweet. How sweet. That was a lovely question, Gun. And that was an amazing.
Ma'am, one more small question, and just a short question.
Yeah.
So, in your schools, there were many functions conducted, and in your life also. So, would you, if now and past means, I just wanted to ask you that in your past, whatever things you enjoyed, do you enjoy still?
Very much. Very much. I think that when I was in the Taj Mahal Hotel, I made 5 rupees in tips. 5 rupees. And I got very excited. Gun. I got so excited. I said, I made 5 rupees जैसे कि मैंने कोई करोड़ों रुपया कमा लिए थे. मैं खुश हो गया था, इतना खुश हो गया था कि मैंने कुछ किया लाइफ में. लोग मुझे डफर बुलाते थे, बेचारा बुलाते थे. 5 रुपए. Today, I say that you can add as many zeros to that 5. Do you have enough excitement in your life when you're making that money? You should be as excited, because you can add any amount of zeros. But if you're not happy about making those zeros to the 5, then your life is a 0, right?
Really, how beautiful. How beautiful. How beautiful. So I think the value of that 5 is probably more than the 5 crores or the 50 crores that you might make at any other point in life.
But I'm happy to make 50 crores. By the way, please don't get me wrong.
Even it is 5 rupees, it is very.
Am I happy making it?
Am I happy making that?
Is my energy the same?
Yes.
Is my enthusiasm and childishness about it the same?
Absolutely.
Even a 5 rupees is too much for us now. Even a 5 rupees.
But the money comes.
Money comes, money goes.
Ma'am, can I ask?
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, can I ask?
Who is that?
Ashlesh Pawar.
Ashlesh, hi.
Yeah, sorry.
Ashlesh गायब हो गया था.
हाँ, नहीं गया.
वीडियो कहाँ है तेरा?
वीडियो ऑन करना Ashlesh. हाँ.
नहीं.
Blur actually. Just a second. Yeah. So can you see me?
Not really. We can only see some reflection as of right now.
Right now also?
हाँ. Okay. What happened? Where are you?
Just a second.
तेरा कैमरा को थोड़ा साफ कर दे शर्ट के साथ.
हो जाएगा सर, अभी हो जाएगा. Yeah.
Hi, Shabas.
Hi sir. So actually my front camera is broken. That's the reason. Yeah. So sir, I want to ask you one question. First of all, a very good evening, and I am really very happy and a big fan of yours. So I want to ask you one question. I would like to take you back to the period of your lockdown in studio. So at time comes when we as a musicians or we as artists, we don't have work for years. So what kept you inspiring in that 2 years on before that also, which didn't force you to give up?
Hmm.
So right now, in the epidemic also, there are many people like us who think that instead of going in this industry, we would do something else. So, but we obviously it's the passion of music and obviously the artists. But what made you, I can say, inspiring about not giving up every day in that 2 years of like time span?
See, there is one thing you must know, that there is always going to be a light at the end of the rainbow, at the end of the tunnel. If you do not see the light at the end of the tunnel, it means that you are not seeing hard enough. And you must, yeah, and you must understand that you know that that light will come. And I'm telling you, when you start sharpening your skills and working harder and creating, sometimes frustration makes the best creating, is the best creative process. When,
That's true.
yeah, so, and when you start and you say, wow, I never thought I could do this. It's looking good. You look up, light has not come. Okay.
Yeah.
You work harder and you say, all kuch create karta hu, aur kuch create karta hu. And frustration should never be there. And you look up and you say, light aayega. Then you start creating more. And you start, I'm beginning to love this. Let's add this little layer. Let's read up something. Let's bring something from the soul and put it into your work. And you look up one day and say, hey, light to nazdeek aa gaya yahan pe.
That's true. It's like just keep on going, growing. It's like
You can't
keep on
fail.
practicing. Yeah.
You can't. Because that if you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, work harder, look down, don't look there. Look at that thing you're creating and put your, and don't worry, and you say, kuch ho nahi raha hai. You lost the game. The light will go further away.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you so
Nice,
much.
nice question also, Ashlesh. Thank you so much. You have to tell us how many more questions we can take, because of course we can go on like this, but I would like you to tell me how much time you have in hand and how many questions you will allow us to take.
Till such time as I get tired,
Oh,
because time and is relative. But I want to give the answers that I don't feel fatigued.
all right. So
So
then I'm
when
going
I
to
get tired,
ask.
I say, I'm a little tired and now I need to, because I've had a long day.
I
But
can see that.
I can't say, okay, I'll give you another 5 minutes, and that's not good. So let's see as much as we can take.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I'm going to ask Madiha, you've been wanting to ask a question to sir. Please go ahead and ask your question. After which I'm going to ask Mahi Chinsanikar, you can ask your question next. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Madiha, go ahead. Madiha,
Turn
you
on
can
your
start your
camera,
question.
Madhiha. I need to
One
see, I
second.
need to connect with the person.
Let me see. 1 minute. Madiha, let
Yes,
me
ma'am. I want to ask that.
start your camera.
Start your camera. I need to connect with the person. Aapka
Start.
certificate दिखाओ.
Some
Madhiha.
of the cameras while we were in the meeting, I had to switch off.
Yes, sir. I want to ask.
Madhiha, bolo.
Bolo.
Bolo, bacha. Bolo na, Madhiha.
Are you asking?
My camera is on.
Your camera is on. Yes, please go ahead and ask Madiha.
Sir, I want to ask that what was your first movie and how you became so successful? Sir, I'm telling only.
Okay.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
I'm listening, Madhiha. Don't worry. I'm listening. My first movie was a experimental film called Let's Talk. It was a very small film. वो release के लिए हमने नहीं बनाया था, बना लिया हमने. And that taught me a lot of things, Madhiha. Are you listening, dear?
Madiha, are you listening?
Right.
Would you like to be in one place? Yeah. Thank you. So let's talk. And what was that film about?
It was about a couple whose life was in distress.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Lovely. Go ahead, Mahi. You can ask your question.
Mahi.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Mahi Chinsanikar. I am actually Swapnil ma'am's daughter.
Yes.
So,
Hi.
Yeah, my question is, sir, you have done theater work and films as well. So my question is, which medium is close to your heart?
You know, I love the cinema. I love the theater. I love even acting in ad films. I love creating things. So I don't know, when I'm doing theater, I must be saying to myself, I love theater, doesn't compare with cinema. When I'm in front of the camera, I love the cinema. I cannot compare with theater. It's all in the moment, because it depends on the excitement and the blood and the adrenaline you feel. I do love the theater. That's where it started. I know someday I'll go back to the theater. But in many ways, when I got excited about acting and it was all about cinema. Even as a 7-8-year-old, I was a.
Sir, I got disconnected in between.
No problem. I'm just in the middle of another answer, Madhya.
Just a minute. Madhya sir is answering some other questions.
But I don't know what came first. Was it the cinema or was it the theater?
There is network issue.
No problem, Madhya. We'll talk to you. I'm in the middle of something, Madhya. So my point I'm making is, it doesn't matter making choices as long as you're happy wherever you are. If I'm in the theater and if I'm unhappy with the people I'm working with, then I won't like the theater. If I'm in the cinema and I'm unhappy with the people I'm working with, then I won't like that cinema at that time. But I've done some wonderful plays. I've made some wonderful friends. But I think when I came into this world, I came in watching movies. And I was very attracted to the craft of cinema, the way the camera can travel, the way the camera can cover your face. You can a lot of people feel an immediate response from an audience. They feel very exciting as theater actors. Audience ka response mil jata hai. I feel I get a response even on the set. I feel the guy who is in the camera, or the light guys, or even the crew members, I feel their energy, because if you're not doing a good job, they are looking into their phone. But if you're doing a good job, they are looking at you. They are your audience. So I don't know. It's a very tough question. I'm happy where I'm happy with people, work with good people.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Chinchanikar. I said it. I hope I said it right.
You said it right, Chinchanikar. Thank you, Mahi. Thank you, Mahi.
Thank you.
Coming back to Madhiha's question, I think Madhiha's.
I answered Madhiha's
Yes,
question.
you did answer Madhiha's question. Sorry, Madhiha sir answered your question, but you got dropped. You'll be able to hear the answer in the recording. I'm going to now move to somebody who's been asking, a little girl in our school, Gargi, and then Onkar Bivapurkar, you can go next.
Gargi?
Yes, Gargi.
Come on.
She's a student of our school.
Very nice, Aatman. Yeah, go for it, Gargi.
Yeah, how your mother helped? How आपकी मम्मी ने you help your mother or not in the cleaning the kitchens that?
Yeah, no, of course. My mother, I think the lockdown again taught us a few things.
Yes.
So, सब कुछ ready आता ना हमारे लिए. Was a great lockdown में क्या है ना, जो कैमरा है ना, कैमरा ऐसे आ गया और यहाँ तक पहुंच गया. You have to realize who you are and what you're who've been so supportive, and things come on a plate, some on a tray. Lockdown taught me, start going to the kitchen, start doing some work, start not being expected to be served hand on foot. These are small things, but they mean a lot. Yes, my mother has worked very hard, and I have hopefully been a good helping hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Gargi. Thank you. Yes, so He helps, and so do all of you. I've heard lots of lovely stories of all of you helping. Okay, Omkar Vivapurkar, you had a question to ask, and then I see this. Hi, there you are.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, sir.
Hi,
Hello.
Omkar.
Sir, I have a question that if you have an open canvas in industry, so if any specific role or any specific song you would like to try, if you have an open canvas in industry.
I think in your head you must realize that you have an open canvas only. We can choose what we want. We can say no to what we want. What you're asking me actually is saying, what kind of role I'd like to do.
Yes.
Said, I think it's better not to say that ये role कर पाऊंगा तो मैं दिखाऊंगा मैं कितना अच्छा actor हूँ कि एक blind man का role करूंगा. What is that? That is a display of your talent. Movies are not about displaying your talent. Movies are about telling stories. So you have to pick stories. You don't have to pick roles. I think that's a big thing. And otherwise, roles is just to satisfy you. Go, मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ, मैं तो वो भी कर सकता हूँ, मैं एकदम old man का role कर सकता हूँ. So, what's the story? Did it touch people's hearts? Or did people say, उसने अच्छा acting किया? We don't need that anymore. You got to move on to tell good stories and keep people moved by a story.
Wow.
Thank you so much, sir.
See you, Omkar.
Thank you. R1, I do not know who that is. Thanks, Omkar. R1, I do not know who that is, but I know you've asked me whether you can ask a question.
Like a character from Star Wars.
I'm Rosie Kohli.
Oh, hi, Rosie. Okay, good to see you. If you can ask a quick question, Rosie.
Yeah, thank you so much. And good evening, sir. It was great listening you. I'm Rosie Kohli from Mumbai. Sir, I would ask you one question. How did you feel working with the legend Sunil Dutt ji and his son Sanjay Dutt? And after watching your movies, did you feel any mistake you have done? Not only that movie, any other movie, and you thought this I could have done more better?
Okay. Every day I feel I could have done better. Every day. I come home, Rosie, and I say, यार ये मैंने ऐसे क्यों नहीं किया? ये point पे मैंने, why didn't I put in more passion at that point? And then I said, if it was honest at that point, that's good enough. But working with Dutt Saab taught me a lot of humility. He thought he's younger than me because I was very, that I was looking like Dr. Asthana. He didn't know what I look like in real life, right? So he didn't know. बोला हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब आइए. So Sanju also, when he met me, I'm 1 year younger than Sanju.
Oh.
But when he met me, he would stand like this. Yes sir. Thank you sir. Yes sir. Yes sir. मैं उसको कहाँ बोलूँ मैं तेरे से छोटा हूँ. मैं लग रहा हूँ ये टकले में मैं लग रहा हूँ तेरे से. But they were so respectful. Whatever people may say of the film industry, they're extremely respectful and acknowledge your talent and take you in if you also have the right attitude. And they were very, very good. And I've never had a problem with anybody in the industry. Never.
Wow. And you
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Rosie, for the question. Thank you very, very much. And we'll go to now Bindu.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We've got Mahi ka ho gaya.
Mahi ka ho gaya.
So
is there anyone you would like to pick from here?
Mansi,
Darsh.
And so now let's not have any more hands. Otherwise it'll
That's right. We will just take one or two more.
We'll see as many from this, but more and more hands come. So we'll take it up to as many. So let's do as many as we can.
With the son. Who's going to come next? So sorry, my son is right here, and I told him you come and ask him any question. He said, no, I'm just going to tell him I'm a big fan.
Okay.
All right. Who goes next? And we are going to ask, Omkar is done, Asma's done. We'll only ask one or two more questions. That's right. Mansi, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'll just come on in 1 second.
Yeah. There you are.
Yeah, good evening, sir. This is Manasi.
Hi, Manasi.
Yeah, thank you for the lovely session. बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के आपको.
Thank you, Manasi.
Yeah, just a simple question. Is there a role of yours which you have portrayed, or a movie, or any play, anything which you have done, which has surprised you as a person, as an artist, which you portrayed on screen or anywhere, on any medium?
Which is
Surprised you?
I think that's a very interesting question, Manasi. Now you got to tell me what do you mean by surprise me. Just give me
As in,
one
okay.
little direction. I'll tell you yes.
So in the sense that, in the ability that you thought you could not push yourself to that limit to do that role, or something of that, in that line.
Okay, that way surprise.
That way, man, I was good. That way,
Yeah,
surprise.
No. Oh, you mean that way surprise that I could not or could?
Could not or could, either way, like something which, a role which you would probably have taken up, and you have liked the script and the play, the narration of what is going on, but as you're playing the character, the layers which are coming in for that particular character, how has it somehow resonated with you in that manner, and you have thought ki, oh, I thought of it in this way when I started it?
Oh yeah, but
it
that
came out.
happens a lot, Manasi. That happens a lot, that you may think of it in a particular way, and then you turn around and say, by the time you get to the shooting floor, you said, man, what if I just did it like this? And yeah, so there is a surprise. There is a surprise that I'll say to myself, I'm going to get extremely angry in this particular scene because I think he should be angry. And then I go to the set and I'm seeing the momentum with which a character enters a scene. And I say, maybe I should not get angry. Maybe I should hold it for another day. Maybe I should contain it, and that momentum controlled anger will take me somewhere else. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you, Manasi, but try and understand.
No, I'm understanding.
Because there are times I go and say, no, maybe I'll just keep it within me. And maybe the anger is like a volcano and I'll build it for another day. So yeah, you can surprise yourself. There are many times I've gone onto a set and said to myself, I'm going to make a big mess of this today. I have rehearsed and I've woken up at 4 a.m. and I rehearse and I go back to sleep, and I am the script. I sleep with the script sometimes, believe it or not. And I open my eyes, I wear my specs and I read it again. Now, what's that line? It was bothering me. And then I go the next day and I say, I'm going to mess this up. And then before you know it, you go on the set and whoop, it's just come out of your mouth and say, how the hell did that happen? I'll tell you how it happened. Because I slept with it. I reflected on it. Certain words that were not coming and making any sense to me, I questioned them. You've got to question yourself all the time. Why? Why is he saying this? Why is he pointing a finger at someone? Question. And I tell you, it'll come in the right circumstances, in the right climate of the set. Everything comes to play. Sometimes I may have not done well, I'm sure, but we work very hard, Mansi.
Thank you.
Nice question.
Lovely question, Mansi. Thank you so much. And we'll take that one last, and this is the full and final last question that we're going to take from, let us see. Yes, Bindu, would you like to ask the next question, the last one?
Come on, Bindu.
Bindu, are you there?
Yeah,
yes, ma'am. I'm there.
Come join in, and 1 second, I'll just ask you to start the video. Yes, please go ahead and let's end with your question.
We can take a couple.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
My video is not getting.
Yeah, start it. Yeah, it'll get
yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
How are you? Good evening.
My question is a bit selfish because I'm asking it for my son.
No,
he has been a student of Aatman Academy, and he loves acting, and we all are a great fan of yours. So in the near future, I would like to know whether if you would start an academy for youngsters, train them. Have you any plans? And you said, sorry, one more thing.
Yeah.
You said you're taking some classes. Is it that for the youngsters, and is it anybody can join that?
I don't know. How old is your son?
He'll be 20 in 2 months.
These are screenwriting classes, Bindu. These are screenwriting classes, and he is most welcome to join. But I don't know if he's inclined to to story.
Yes, yes. He is a fanatic
Fanatic
about
for
movies.
what? For what?
Yeah.
What is he a fanatic about?
He loves watching all types of movies, like most of the regional movies, and he comes out with his views and he gives good reviews.
All
So
right.
I feel he's in that learning phase now. And
Look,
yes,
look, Bindu. You send me. Does he have a mobile phone?
yes, sir.
You send ma'am his number.
Yes,
She'll
sir.
send it to me. She'll send it to me, and I'll send him a link. Let him come to class, and let him. If he's inclined to towards writing and storytelling. Otherwise, it'll be very it'll be dissuading. It won't be fun. ये मम्मी बोला तो गया. It's not one of those.
नहीं, उसके
Yeah.
interest के वजह से. It's because.
Very good. So.
Yeah, it's purely because of his interest, and even ma'am
Very
is
nice.
aware he is interested in acting.
Very good. Excellent, Bindu. So you send your number. You can send it to someone in the school, and it'll be forward. If you don't mind, Manjusri, if you could do this little thing, and I'll send him a link, and he can come and listen in and see
Yes,
what
sir.
it takes, that the construction of the story, how a story is constructed.
Yes, sir.
What goes into the anatomy of a scene, the creation
Yes,
of
sir.
a character.
Yes,
how do
sir.
you build it. If he finds interest, he'll stick around, because my classes are open for anyone. We don't charge a rupee. We don't ask too many questions of what you really want to do. But the only thing is, I know that if you are interested, you'll stick around. If you're not, you'll drop out. But
yes,
and that is not a crime. Let him come and आजमा ले. पसंद आए तो ठीक है. ऐसे नहीं कि इतने भारी फीस देने पड़ते upfront और फिर वो फीस वेस्ट हो जाएंगे और जबरदस्ती have to go and then attend some course that you paid the fees for. Don't worry. Send him. Let it be a safe place for him to come and learn. Okay.
Yes, sir. Surely it will be great under your guidance. He will also learn a lot.
I cannot sit and guide individually, because I cannot right now.
Yeah.
He'll have to just come in and listen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He'll have to just come and listen and be part of the listening process.
Yes,
and that's it.
I think he would really love it, and he will be
We'll see.
surely
We can't tell. We'll see. Let him decide.
No, I think you've said a very valuable thing. So I had come to a station phase in music, and I was learning from Padma Bhushan Shobha Gurtu ji, and the words I used, it's about I was learning. She was not teaching us. Monday to Monday, we used to go to her and be there with her for 3 hours, and she used to sing with us all the tumris and the kajris and all of that. So it was never that she taught us, but we learnt from her, and that's exactly, you just sit under that tree and you absorb all that you can, because you have it in you to be able to do that.
Right.
So that's what we do with stalwarts. That is the way learning actually happens.
Right.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that question, Bindu, and I think it's opened up a lot of avenues for, I think, many others, if they might just reach out to me.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
I will reach out to you once that happens, and if there are others who'd like to be, partake from this entire endeavor that you have started in writing stories, I think it'll be lovely. Yes, Darsh, we go next. You can go ahead with your question, because that's another excellent. And then one question I'm going to ask you to please answer is of a favorite for Jeet. So Jeet, hi, I'm happy to see you, and after Darsh, you will ask your question.
Ma'am, this is Amol here. Can I also ask my question?
Yes, sure, Amol. Amol, you've joined us from Dubai. Good to see you.
Yes, thanks.
Go, whoever.
So who's going, Darsh or Ajit? Darsh, yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening.
Sir, I wanted to ask you something about photography. Do you still enjoy photography
Very
as a
much.
hobby?
Very much, but I
Which-
don't have the time. Very much, I don't have the time, unfortunately. But I enjoy photography. I still read on photography, and I still watch a lot of YouTube videos on great photographs and how they were taken, and even basic principles of photography. I still continue to learn, by the way. I still continue to learn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Darsh. Jeet, will you go next?
Ma'am,
Yes,
after
ma'am.
that, can I ask question?
Yes, we'll ask Amol sir and then Jeet. Good evening. Good to see you.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good
I
evening.
would like to ask you one question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sir, as Manjushri ma'am told me that you were having a stammering problem. So how did you overcome through it?
You know, I'll tell you something. Jeet, I had a speech problem. I used to stutter a little bit, and I had a lisp, very bad lisp. And I'm saying to myself, I think today, even if I didn't overcome it, so what? So what? I would have had a lisp and a stammer. So what? As long as I am confident that it doesn't make a difference to me anymore. So anyone with any disability, like the lady I told you about, the blind lady, it can't be worse. My stammer could, and my lisp could not be worse than a person who's blind, right? She's saying, so what? Please don't feel sorry for me. Somebody said, "Aap andhi hai kya?" Saying, "Nahi, haan, andhi hu kya?" It's amazing, right? What if it doesn't? As long as you have a mind and a soul and a desire, it doesn't matter. I'm saying today, suppose I lisped or I stammered and I did not correct it because my mother sent me to a therapist. There's so many people who may not find the therapist, or even after therapy may not be able to correct it. So what? Very important. Don't worry about these are small things. Everything is going to do with you here. Your heart should be strong. And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. I today I think it's a little late in the day, but today I would have said, "To kya fark padta?" I may have had a stammer, I may have had a lisp. It's okay. But I'm strong, and so should anyone who has a speech difficulty or any difficulty. It doesn't matter. Don't worry. Go out there and show the world. Always be strong. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jeet. Thank you. And we are going to go to Amol. Amol, good evening.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, ma'am. Thank you very much. It's an absolute honor to be.
Thank you, Amol.
Huge fan. Well done, Abba is one of my favorite performance of yours.
Lovely.
Brilliant. And sir, couple of questions. One is that when will I see you, or when will we see you in a Marathi film? I know you have worked with the likes of Sudhir Joshi in I Am Not Bajirao,
Yes.
and a small part in Ventilator.
Yes.
So we'll be absolutely honored to see you in a Marathi film or a theater. And secondly, if I have a script for you, given an option to Bindu ma'am, how can I? Because I'm absolutely a common man. I don't know how to.
We're all common men, Amol. Why do you say that?
So I don't know how to reach out to you if it is for a Marathi film. If I have a script for you, so that will be a second question.
I would be happy to do a Marathi film. I would be happier if I could speak fluently enough to be on Marathi stage. Actually, my love for the Marathi theatre is very, very deep. Luckily, we are close to Shivaji Mandir, so we get to go once in a while and see all these great people writing. I'm a great dear friend of Sudhir Joshi, who passed away unfortunately. I'm a great friend of Jitendra Joshi, and we are in touch almost every day. So I would, if I had the guts, I would go on Marathi stage. But about your script, it's just that I have lessened all my work to work on my script, which I'm hoping to produce or direct soon. So right now, I'm not looking at any new films. The two films that I'm working on right now, I've patched them between the film I want to make. So if it can wait for a certain period of time and a reasonable amount of time, but right now I feel very bad to dissuade anyone. But I don't have the time management to do another film. I'm hoping that my film goes underway first, because I've worked 7 years on my script, just as you may have worked very hard on your script. I've worked 7 years on my script, and it's about time I make my debut as a director. So
We
that,
really look forward to that, sir. We really look forward to that, and
thank
I can certainly wait, and I really hope for that golden opportunity.
thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to dissuade you in any way, Amol.
No, sir. No, sir.
So we'd love to see your film. In fact,
Yeah.
we're eagerly waiting for
I
your
would
dream
love to see.
project. Yeah. Okay. When we go before, I'd like my son. He's been here asking me. I
Hi.
want to ask a
Hi.
question.
Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm fine, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Sir, I wanted to ask you that if we have many things that we like and we want to do, and we don't know how to start and what to choose, then what should we do? I mean, like, I like many things. Like, I like to play football. I like to do gaming. There are many stuff, but how will we understand? Will we know that what to do and what to choose?
You're telling your name.
My name is Anvay. Sir.
Anvay.
Anvay, you know what? I think it's called a calling for good reason. It's called a calling.
Wow.
You've heard of it, no? Yeah. I found my calling. It will call you, Anvay. It will call you. So there's a reason why someone has called it one's calling. So you can do football, you could do gaming, you can do theater, music, guitar, whatever. Do everything. And one thing will call you big time. It'll actually talk to you. Believe me. You'll sleep with it, not because you find excitement in doing it, but because you have to see yourself and say, I can really, really make a difference by doing this. And the moment you decide on that, it will call you. Your work will start looking great. It'll suddenly start looking great. It's called a calling for a special reason.
And so until then, you keep doing it, doing everything.
It's a hobby. You make people pay for your hobbies.
Sir, I have one more question that I am interested in acting, but then how to overcome stage fear?
All right, that's a session that we can you can do with acting students. Stage fright. I think stage fright is there only because we have an ego that we don't want to fail.
Oh.
We don't want to fail, so we don't want to go there and I'll look like an ass. सब लोग हंसेंगे तो तेरा ईगो को प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा.
Prestige में पंक्चर.
Prestige में पंक्चर. Forget about it. Go there. You must not be worried about the character. Don't be worried about the audience. The moment you start worrying about the audience, you're waiting for their opinion. And while you're waiting for the opinion, while you are supposed to be truthful to the character, you're being truthful to the audience. Be truthful to the character in the moment, and you'll not have stage fright.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Wonderful. I think we are absolutely. I mean, we are tiring you out, and I believe
I'm a little low. I need to go and eat something. I'm a little low.
You need to go. So we will. Okay. So we'll wind up with.
It's not the time. It's energy. And I'm
Manjushri ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Shaunak here.
Okay, Shaunak.
Ma'am, my
another aspiring actor in art. He's a theatre person. Shaunak, I can't.
Ma'am, after Shaunak I.
Hey, 1 minute, sir has to go. So now we have to.
Good. I'm not feeling
He's
too good.
feeling tired. I know he's tired.
Never say no to anybody. I will go.
I know.
I'm not tired. I'm a little low on sugar.
Yes.
And I'm my
Manjushri?
Yes, Sunita, yes, you can switch on your video, please. We'll just end these two. That's it. Now we will not.
Sir, one last question.
Yes, Shaunak is going to ask. Yeah,
Hello,
Sunita.
sir. Yeah, hello, sir.
That's from Darjeeling.
Hi.
I'm Sunita.
The mic is not working. We can't hear.
Her network is a little poor. Sunita, her network is poor.
Nihal.
Nihal.
From Darjeeling. So he want to ask you one question, sir.
Go.
Yeah.
नमस्ते सर.
नमस्ते.
सर मुझे आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछना था.
बोलो.
क्या आपको डांस अच्छा लगता है?
क्यों नहीं? डांस में बहुत मजा आता है. I like to dance. I like to do everything that I did. Yeah, go ahead.
मैंने आपको डांस करते हुए कभी नहीं देखा।
हैप्पी न्यू ईयर में कितना डांस किया मैंने, थक गया डांस करते करते, गिर गया था।
मैं
अच्छा
आपका
लगा।
हर एक मूवी देखता हूँ, वहाँ पर आप कभी डांस नहीं करते हो।
बोला ना मैंने, हैप्पी न्यू ईयर में कितना डांस किया था मैंने।
हैप्पी न्यू ईयर देखा नहीं है तो देखो अभी जाके, सर ने उसमें बहुत डांस किया है।
मैंने मेहुना में भी डांस किया था,
हाँ।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू।
मैं देखूंगा।
थैंक यू।
बाय बाय सर।
Thank you so much.
Hello ma'am.
Okay, and we have to wind up. I'm so sorry.
I would never say no to anybody.
I know, but this
I'm
is
just feeling. I'm getting the cold feeling around here. I'm getting the cold sweat. So I need
yes.
to get.
No. We don't want to
need to
stretch
go
this
eat
any
something.
further. Shaunak and Jasmine, I am very sorry, but we don't want to stretch it any further for sir because he has been with us for 2 hours and that is a long time. He's had a very long day.
Ma'am, can I ask one question to sir?
Who
This
is that?
Gayatri from Bangalore.
Okay, Gayatri, I can't see you. Gayatri. Okay, yeah. Hi, Gayatri. Hi, Gayatri.
I'm really fading a little
Yeah,
bit.
he's a little tired.
Sir, I'm so sorry
I'm
that
not
I'm
tired. I'm
troubling
low on
you.
sugar, and that's little. I'm low. My sugar level. I'm diabetic, so I need to go and take something.
I'm reminded of our.
Okay, sir. I will not take long time. Sir, good evening, sir. It is indeed being a great honor to be part of this session. I just would like to put a last question to you.
Yeah,
Sir,
go ahead.
usually parents are considered to be the first guru for the child.
Right.
I would like to know the role of yours in your child's life.
In my child's life?
Your role in your child's life.
I'll put it very simply. I think, and this is something I'd heard and I'm repeating and I live by it. Children don't do what you tell them to do. Children do what you do. So it's very important. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for taking.
Thank you. Thanks, Gayatri. Thank you so much, Boman. And I cannot thank you enough. You have given us far more than the time that we actually.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Thank you.
But thank you so much, and let's all just give him a big round of applause for being with us. And we shall make the 5 rupee payment for sure. Thank you. It's a blessing, and we loved having you with us this evening.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, talk to you later.
Sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Bye bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
For you.
Thank you, sir, to be here.